For more on the U.S. and Chinese investment in West Africa, I spoke to Congressman Krishnamoorthi. He's a Democrat representing Illinois, and he's the ranking member on the House Select Committee on China. Congressman, President Biden's visit is part of an effort to increase U.S. trade and investment in Africa and also counter Chinese influence there. First of all, what do you think this massive railway project that President Biden announced will do?
Well, I think it's a game changer. This particular project, by the way, is one that has attracted a lot of attention in Angola because the Chinese government actually tried to fund a rehabilitation of that particular railway in 2017, but it was so shoddy that there were almost 10 accidents per year. And this is just an example of what happens when you bring the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, into the development game. They bring something called Belt and Road Initiative, which we call debt trap diplomacy. And so this rehabilitation attempt failed. Then the Angolans turned to the Europeans and Americans to try to salvage this project. And so now we're working on it, and we're working on it in a way that will help Angolans, but also help the world, since Angola is such a source of critical minerals necessary for everything from the green revolution to semiconductor chips.
At the same time, China has already poured billions of dollars into the Belt and Road Initiative, as you know. It has focused a lot on infrastructure across Africa for years. Not looking at the specific railway project, but more broadly, is the U.S. late to the game?
We're late, but we're catching up. And I think that one of the reasons why African countries are turning to the U.S. and Europe and other places is because of the shoddy nature of the Belt and Road Initiative projects, the fact that they come with a lot of debt, and the fact that there's a lot of corruption involved with these particular projects. There's a reason why a lot of people call the CCP the ultimate predator-creditor. And so now we have to get in the game because these projects have to be built, these railways have to be rehabilitated, and Americans and the rest of the world have to do their part. So I'm really excited by what's happening in Angola.
One more question about this partnership, because African countries have complained in the past, some have, that Western countries have not worked with them on eye level. So I guess looking at this partnership beyond resources, oil and minerals, what is the strategic goal here for the U.S. and vice versa? What does Angola and the region get from this?
It's got to be economic development. Sumi, one thing that was really kind of characteristic about BRI or Belt Road Initiative projects that the Chinese built is that they imported Chinese materials and they brought Chinese workers to countries in Africa to build those projects. So the local economy really didn't benefit even from the construction of these projects. On the other hand, with this railway project in Angola, but also other projects, Europeans and the Americans are working together to try to bring a little more in the way of skills training to the local population and bring them into the projects to work on them, as well as inject money into the local economy so that they can have a more prosperous future based on the project.
I do also want to ask you about a piece of news. We saw China banning exports to the U.S. of critical minerals used in semiconductors. That is coming in response to Washington curbing exports of shipments to China of chips, also chip-making tools. What do you think of this development? What does it tell us about where things are going?
Well, it's all the more reason why we need to work with our African partners as well as others to make sure that we're not subject to coercion by the CCP. You are absolutely right. The CCP has banned the export of germanium, gallium, antimony, as well as what they call super hard materials, such as tungsten, to the United States. And so we've got to work with our partners to basically substitute for Chinese exports. Now, I personally believe that this is going to backfire on the Chinese because when they did this with other minerals, what ended up happening is that Europe and the West found alternative sources. So now they were not only not subject to Chinese coercion, but the Chinese lost that business. Okay. And given that the Chinese economy is tanking right now, that can't be good news for Chinese companies either.